Hello and welcome to the Dailies. Multiple stories dominated international headlines today as global attention centered on President Trump's Asia tour and his high-stakes meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Meanwhile, the Dutch general election results drew significant coverage across Europe, signaling a political shift towards the center. At the same time, the fragile Gaza ceasefire remained under close scrutiny, with renewed tensions threatening to upend the delicate truce. International media was dominated by the news of President Trump meeting with the Chinese president in South Korea. Outlets reported that just minutes before he was scheduled to meet President Xi Jinping of China, the president threatened on social media to resume nuclear testing for the first time in 33 years. The New York Times provides a concise yet revealing look at shifting global power dynamics. The report focuses on the leaders' meeting. A less than 2-hour meeting that ended on a positive note marks the leaders' first encounter of Trump's second term and a key moment in efforts to stabilize a fragile trade truce between the US and China. It also highlights Trump's surprise decision to restart nuclear weapons testing after 33 years, a move likely to raise international concern. Accompanying video and photographs capture the leaders shaking hands and diplomatic formality, underscoring the significance of their dialogue. The piece also points out that South Korea's new trade agreement with the US signals evolving alliances in the region amid global economic uncertainty. Axios highlighted a pivotal moment in global trade and diplomacy. Donald Trump's meeting with the Chinese president in South Korea. The report underscores why it matters. A breakthrough between the US and China could indeed ease major business and economic uncertainties, especially around tariffs, export controls, and also strategic supply chains. The piece highlights key agenda items, include rare earth minerals, soybean exports, fentanyl flow concerns, and high-tech chip access. Now, by documenting both the diplomatic handshake and the unfinished agenda, the report situates this meeting as more than a photo op. It may signal the start of a reset in US-China relations. Newsweek underscores a major geopolitical turning point: the U.S. decision to share nuclear submarine technology with South Korea for the first time. It matters because it marks a break from decades of nuclear restraint, signaling Washington's willingness to deepen military ties in Asia amid rising tensions with China and also North Korea. The deal also reinforces U.S. industrial strength, channeling new contracts to Philadelphia shipyards while securing South Korea investments and also trade concessions. Now, beyond defense cooperation, the article also highlights how the agreement, as we're going to see, how this agreement redefines America's strategic posture, blurring lines between deterrence and escalation. By expanding nuclear partnership, Trump's move could indeed reshape regional power balances and test global norms on technology transfer and arms control. International media continue to cover Hurricane Melissa, emphasizing its catastrophic impact, highlighting Jamaica's landslides and mass power outages, Cuba's large-scale evacuations, and the broader humanitarian risks across the Caribbean. The Washington Post's interactive piece delivers a powerful visual and narrative account of the storm's impact on Jamaica and also Cuba. Combining striking photographs and immersive videos, it captures the devastation left by the Category 5 hurricane. Floods or flooded streets as well, collapsed homes, desperate rescue efforts. Also, the images show communities submerged and infrastructure shattered, while also videos highlight the chaos and bravery of emergency teams navigating debris-filled waters. Beyond visuals, the piece provides crucial context on power outages, blocked roads, and humanitarian needs, painting a comprehensive picture of the unfolding crisis. To the Middle East, where the ceasefire in Gaza remains formally in effect, but fresh strikes have shaken trust and highlighted how fragile the agreement really is. Israel Hayom reports that the coming days will be decisive as Qatar intensifies pressure on Hamas to accept Donald Trump's ceasefire and hostage recovery plan. The proposal reportedly involves the return of hostage bodies as a first step towards broader truce. The piece stresses that Qatar's mediation efforts are indeed accelerating amid growing regional and U.S. expectations for movement before the weekend, making this a critical diplomatic window. While Hamas remains hesitant, sources suggest its leadership is weighing the political cost of refusal under mounting isolation. The piece frames the next few days as a pivotal test for Trump's Middle East strategy and for whether negotiations can finally shift from rhetoric to tangible humanitarian progress. The Guardian's cartoon sums up President Trump's reaction to the ceasefire violation in a satirical way. It depicts Donald Trump standing, as you can see here, amid devastation. Arms raised while fighter jets and explosions fill the sky. He declares it's fine, just a little peacefire, nothing to worry about. The cartoon plays on the word peacefire, mocking Trump's tendency to always downplay crises and mischaracterize conflict situations. The contrast between his calm reassurance and the chaotic, warlike background underscores indeed a disconnect between rhetoric and reality. The cartoon suggests Trump is presenting violent escalation as a form of peace, a critique of his handling of international conflicts or ceasefire announcements that mask ongoing aggression. The Times, on the other hand, published an exclusive investigation revealing that ICC Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan is under internal probe for alleged sexual misconduct and abuse of power based on leaked ICC documents and also insider testimony. A former aide accuses Khan of unwanted advances during official trips and also in The Hague. Allegations he firmly denies. What makes this expose significant is indeed its timing. It emerges as Khan leads sensitive investigations into alleged Israeli war crimes in Gaza, including potential arrest warrants for senior officials. The report hints that the leaks may be politically motivated, intertwining personal scandal with global geopolitics. Now, ultimately, it portrays a crisis that could undermine both Khan's leadership and the ICC's legitimacy on the world stage. Dutch media broadly portrayed the results of the 2025 general elections as a pivot away from far-right dominance, with the centrist Democrats at D66 gaining momentum and the far-right Party for Freedom, PVV, faltering. Coverage emphasized that the coalition building will be complex, given the fragmented parliament and the reluctance of mainstream parties to ally with the PVV. Dutch News provides a clear and balanced overview of the Netherlands' political realignment following the election, and the piece highlights that Democrats and its leader Rob Jetten are emerging as the dominant centrist force, positioning Jetten as the likely next prime minister. The report underscores a national shift away from the far right, noting that despite Geert Wilders' PVV winning the popular vote, Other parties refused to form a coalition with him. Now, the piece explains the complexities of coalition formation, presenting possible center-left and center-right combinations, while emphasizing the challenges of securing a stable majority. Politico captures a tense moment in U.S. trade politics as the United States Senate delivered a symbolic rebuke to Donald Trump's tariffs strategy. After a similar vote on tariffs on Brazil, a bipartisan group, 4 Republicans joining all Democrats, voted to overturn the national emergency declaration underpinning punitive tariffs on Canada, citing economic harm and executive overreach. The report presents the vote's political significance and puts it in context of a broader trade war anxieties. The Wall Street Journal chronicles Nvidia's meteoric rise towards a historic market capitalization milestone. Now, driven by explosive demand for its AI-powering GPUs and a string of high-profile partnerships, including with OpenAI and Oracle Corporation, Nvidia is indeed now valued above $5 trillion for the first time. The piece points out that the company now surpasses entire technology sectors and rivals combined. At the same time, the report cautions that heavy investment and sky-high expectations raise the specter of an AI-driven bubble. The piece blends financial metrics, industrial context, and strategic moves to illustrate both Nvidia's dominance and the risk of overextension in a fast-evolving AI market. And we'll end with a Telegraph which captures the chaotic aftermath of a serious procedural failure in the UK. Convicted sex offender Hadush Kebatu, and Ethiopian immigrant, was wrongly released from prison on his way to deportation. The piece quotes Kebatu himself as he claims he tried to surrender to the police, telling officers, "I am a wanted man," and asking to be taken to a police station. Yet he was ignored, he says. The report highlights the Metropolitan Police deny any record of him approaching officers, and the exposé places this incident against the backdrop of a major public safety concerns and immigration tensions in the UK. Kebatu's earlier sexual assault of a 14-year-old girl triggered protests, and his release spurred a 48-hour manhunt. The piece exposes systematic lapses in prison release and immigration processes, raising urgent questions over public trust and accountability. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.